What is up, everybody? Welcome back into another video. In this video, we're talking about the move that Bob Quinn made last night to trade away Quandre Diggs. We're also going to be talking about what plan he may have up his sleeve after making this move, or was it just a terrible decision by Bob Quinn? Let's get right into it. Right now I'm recording this video, nothing has happened yet, no big moves or anything has really happened yet. When it does, I'll definitely give that to you guys. So hopefully, this video doesn't upload and then as soon as it uploads, people, they make a move, because that'd be really awkward. We're going to be talking about this move that Bob Quinn made last night to trade away Quandre Diggs. Now, I know a lot of you guys are upset. Okay, it's okay to be upset. I was really upset when Theo Riddick was just let go. Okay, we didn't even trade him. We just let go Theo Riddick. And I was like, oh my goodness, Theo Riddick was definitely one of my favorite players that the Lions have ever had. And to add on to this, to make it even worse, Kerryon Johnson goes down on IR. So Kerryon Johnson's going to be out for basically the entire season. So now we're without Kerryon and we're without Diggs. What the heck is going on? I think the sky is falling. Oh my goodness. Obviously, us fans weren't the only people that were upset, so were the Lions players. They were very upset by moving on from a guy that was the captain of this Detroit Lions team, okay? And I know, obviously, they're going to be upset because they knew them personally, so I don't think it really matters who it was. They were going to be upset either way, but they were definitely not happy about this move necessarily. But the Detroit Lions made this move anyways, okay? That's what it comes down to. Detroit Lions made this move, and I know a lot of us wanted change. Now we have to find out whether or not this was the right move to make, okay? Because that's the biggest question right now. So, since Kerryon Johnson went down with that injury, now he's on IR, I'm going to be talking about trade targets at the running back position, because now the Detroit Lions have made this move. This could potentially be a master plan to set up a running back trade. Now, I was thinking a little bit, okay? The Detroit Lions traded up to draft Will Harris in the 3rd round. So they got Will Harris. They have a really deep safety group already coming into the year, and they get Will Harris. And I was like, okay, a 3rd round pick is safety. Okay, I'm not really sure why we did that. But that could have been them knowing that, hey, Quandre Diggs is one of those guys that we may move at some point if we have to. He's kind of like a safety valve because we're deep here anyways. And why some of our younger guys grow, maybe at some point we'll let him go, okay? I don't know if that was always our plan. It may not have been our plan. Maybe I'm just reading too much into this. But this could be his master plan, right? Because maybe, all right, so he sees the opportunity to make a trade for Quandre Diggs. Now, should he got more back than a 5th round pick? I would probably say so. I don't think this is necessarily a good return for a guy like Quandre Diggs and a 7th round pick. I don't think a 5th round pick makes up for that at all. But at the same time, they knew about Kerryon Johnson, right? They knew before everybody else knew what was going on with Kerryon Johnson, most likely. So they probably knew, hey, look, Kerryon Johnson, all right, he's about to go on IR. He's not very healthy. Now we really have to make a decision, so what do we do? Okay, now Detroit Lions need help on defense, and I, for one, am definitely with going to make a trade defensively. I know some people, there's actually a few of you guys out there that are like, no, man, we don't need to make a trade. I think we are fine. We have enough to win. We just need to coach better. We need to tackle better. We need to do the fundamentals better. And that could be the case. That may be the case, and that may be what the Detroit Lions do. But I would definitely be okay with bringing in a defensive player. But for this video, because I already talked about the defensive line in another video, you guys can go check that out. I also already talked about 5 trade targets. You guys can check that out. But in this video, we're going to be talking about running backs, because Kerryon Johnson has now went down, and we may need another running back, because right now our running back class looks like Ty Johnson and J.D. McKissick. Those are our main 2 running backs at this point. Obviously, I don't know if either one of those are a starter. Ty Johnson may get a lot more carries, and he may be a starter for the meantime. But at some point, we may go get a running back. The trade deadline is October 29th, I believe. So with that being said, the Detroit Lions may be looking for a running back. So I put together a short list of running backs that Detroit Lions may want to look at. It's a 3. There's 3 players on this list, but there's actually 5 because one's a dark horse and one's an honorable mention. But we're going to go through the 3, not in any order. Let's get it started. The first guy I have is Melvin Gordon. Now, Melvin Gordon comes on here is because I believe he's probably the best running back out of any of these running backs I'm going to name. Melvin Gordon is a really good player who wants a long-term contract, and he's scheduled to be a free agent at some point. So he wants a home. He wants a long-term contract. Now, could the Detroit Lions do that? Maybe. Maybe they could give him a home and have him as a long-term player, but that would take a lot of cap. But for now, maybe for a year type of deal, could the Detroit Lions trade this guy over and just keep him for the rest of the season or something along those lines? That is a possibility. Melvin Gordon is one of the better running backs. I think he's the best running back I put on this list. But Melvin Gordon is a guy that has had almost 3,700 yards in 4 years rushing. Okay, and he just hasn't seemed to be the perfect fit with the Chargers this season. As we know, the Chargers have really just kind of fallen apart this season. 2 wins, but they're really struggling. We beat the Chargers already this season, but it looks like their main running back is Austin Eckler. Okay, he has been their go-to guy, and as we know, Melvin sat out. He was holding out from the team because he won a big contract. Doesn't look like the Chargers are going to give it to him. So I'm not saying the Lions have to give it to him. Since this guy is such a really good player, Bob Quinn may have been thinking, okay, let's get an extra draft pick. So if we try to go get a guy like this that's really talented, it's going to take some extra firepower. So maybe that 5th round pick will come into play. Maybe a 2nd and a 5th, maybe a 3rd and a 5th. I don't know necessarily what it would take to get a guy like Melvin Gordon. But the fact that he held out and then he's going to come a free agent, there's a chance that the Chargers are right. You know what? We'll move on for him. And plus, then you're getting Melvin Gordon back, who I think Melvin Gordon is a really good running back. Next up, coming in number 2 is Kenyon Drake. Now, Kenyon Drake is the guy that, again, not a lot of people want, but Kenyon Drake is on here for the simple fact that we have inquired about Kenyon Drake, and we've definitely shown some interest in Kenyon Drake. Now, I've talked about him a lot, so I'm not going to go too much into the details. If you guys want to hear about him, you can go check out my last video about trades where I talked about top 5 trade options. He is in there. I also have a video about inquired about Kenyon Drake, so you guys can check that out as well. There's more stats in there. But basically, he's a dual threat running back, not very old, and his stats have kind of been dropping as he's played in the league. But they're not terrible, okay? They're not terrible at all. But he also kind of reminds me of that theoretic type of package. I know some people like him, some people don't. Some people don't think he lived up to what they were hoping. This is a running back out of Alabama. I don't know necessarily if this is a number 1 type of running back, but at the same time, maybe the Lions bring him in and play running back by committee. Look, we don't have a true number 1. We have Ty Johnson, we have J.D. McKissick, and we have Kenyon Drake, all elusive guys that can catch the ball in the backfield. Maybe that's where they go with this, and maybe that 5th round pick could potentially push them into getting a guy like Kenyon Drake, and who knows, maybe they still can make a trade for a defensive player. I don't know. Next up is Devontae Freeman. Now, Devontae Freeman, again, is a Falcons running back, and as we know, all of these guys have something similar. Their teams are not very good, and the Falcons are not very good this season. They have completely fallen off. I believe they have 1 win on the season at this time. They have just been struggling. I think they've dropped 5 straight, so they just haven't been playing well, and Devontae Freeman is a very talented running back. This season hasn't been very crazy, right? He hasn't been super good, but at the same time, he still is a really good player, okay? This guy was drafted back in 2014, and he was signed to a big extension after the 2016 season when they went to the Super Bowl. Now, in 2017, he gets that extension, and right now, it's looking like on the Falcons side of things, okay, man, I'm not sure what the heck's going on over here. We may start letting go of players, because that's what a lot of teams do when the trade deadline comes up and your team is struggling. So that could be an option for the Detroit Lions. Again, he can't catch the ball in the backfield, okay? So this is a guy that Lions could potentially look at bringing in. He has 299 rushing yards, which is only 3.5 yards per carry, but at the same time, he does have 27 receptions, so we'll see what happens. And obviously, sometimes the change of scenery is all it takes for a player to get back to their usual self. And now I have a dark horse on here, and this is Le'Veon Bell. Now, Le'Veon Bell is a dark horse because this could be a move the Lions are trying to make if they're going all out in the running back position. But the problem is the Jets just got this guy, and I don't see the Jets letting him go. But as we know, the Jets are still the Jets. They are still struggling. They just lost 33-0. Now, they did get a win over the Cowboys. Good job, Jets. But other than that, they've been struggling this season. So maybe they let him go. Maybe they're looking for a trade. I don't know about this one. But I just kind of wanted to put him on here because they're playing bad at the same time. I don't necessarily see this one happening. And an honorable mention I have is Adrian Peterson, okay? I know some people like Adrian Peterson, some people don't. I really don't know how I feel about Adrian Peterson. The fact is, I think this is one that may be the most realistic other than Kenyon Drake. So those are the 5 running backs that the Lions may be looking at, okay? And like I said, the Detroit Lions are in a position right here with Bob Quinn where he's either going to have a great decision that he made or it's going to be an awful decision and everybody's going to be upset. Obviously, everybody's upset. I'm not happy at this point, but they can make me happy if they do something right with it, okay? If we just leave like this and we make no moves, I'm going to be like, why in the world would we do this? At the same time, we are deep at the safety position, and the Lions knew this. So if they're trying to get that 5th round pick so they can go make another move, I can't fault them for trying to make changes unless it doesn't work. And right now, we're not going to know in 1 week whether or not a change is the right move, right? Because it takes time. But by the end of the season, we will know, was this the right move? Okay, that's what's really going to come down to. Was this the right move? Because we've wanted change. The same old Lions is the same old Lions because there's no change, right? We continually make dumb mistakes, we lose, and this could be a dumb mistake. This could be a same old Lions move. At the same time, it's an opportunity for the Lions to make a really good move. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen at this point, obviously, and I know some people are really mad about this, and you have a right to be mad. Quandre Diggs was one of my favorite players, okay, like I said in the comments last one. He retweeted, I think he replied to one of my Twitter tweets one time, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I was so hyped. Other than that, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but this is a potential that Bob Quinn is going to show that masterful plan that he has, or it's just like, Bob Quinn, what are you doing? And I don't think this is necessarily a tanking move, because if it was a tanking move, I would have saw someone else go, right? Maybe a Slay, Marvin Jones Jr., even after the big game, because those guys have big value. You can get something big in return. A Slay might get you a first-round pick. A Marvin Jones could get you a first or second-round pick, maybe. So that would be necessarily the tank move. Now, that could still happen. Please don't do that, Detroit, okay? But at this point, this doesn't look like a tank move to me, okay? You're really trading away a safety where you have a lot of depth and you're getting a 5th-round pick. If you're tanking, you're not going to tank for a 5th-round pick, right? Dropping players, you're not going to drop players for a 5th-round pick because that's That's just dumb. And it's not like we're in that bad of a position where we're out of the playoffs already. I mean, guys, we're one game behind 500. We beat the Giants, which we should. We're 500, okay? We're fine. I want to see what Bob Quinn has to do about this, but at this time, none of us know. We'll see if something happens. You know I will keep you guys updated as best that I can. So if you guys have any thoughts, guys have any questions, if you guys still upset, go rant. It's all good. I feel you on that one. But at the same time, keep an eye out because this could be a good move. And we're going to have to wait and see. Not going to judge yet, but I think in a couple of weeks, we may be able to make a judgment and say, look, this was a terrible move. Or look, Bob Quinn, it was a risk. You took the risk, and it worked out. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Prop, for watching, and I'm out.